Hello, my name is Matt Hazledine from Lymphoedema United. I hope you're keeping well. This is the fifth in my series of videos where I try to pass on my experiences and tips to help others with lymphedema. Having said that, I'm not a medical professional, so I won't be giving any advice. I'm not qualified to give advice in any capacity, as I'm certainly not a medic, but I have had lymphedema for almost 11 years. Come the middle of June. So I'm here to help others if possible by sharing experiences and tips. And on the subject of that, today I will be talking about where to find help within the medical sector in terms of clinicians or therapists to help with your strategy and also your treatment plan for lymphedema. I should just share my experience briefly of this, which was in 2011, because sadly I've heard stories recently of pretty much the same thing happening, which is a shame. But my story is, in summary, is this. So I was in hospital for 2 weeks with cellulitis, which then caused lymphedema in my left leg, which was a swelling of nearly 60% bigger than my right. I was told in the second week of hospital that I had lymphedema, and on discharge to go to the supplies room to collect some stockings, as I should be needing to wear those for the rest of my life, which as a 40-year-old man, hearing that wasn't the most fun thing to leave hospital with. But I left with my probably class 1 or class 2 stockings and went home. Several weeks went past and the stockings weren't really effective, and the swelling was getting bigger, and lymphedema was taking hold, put it that way, mentally, physically, changing my life in all sorts of ways that I hadn't anticipated. So I needed to get help. I went to my local GP, told him I had lymphedema, and asked where I could go to find specialist help. And unfortunately, lymphedema wasn't particularly well known at that time. My GP didn't know where help was available locally. And so it was pretty much left to our own devices to try and research help. And we did that obviously using the internet, but it took several days of searching online and making phone calls to people. In the end, I think my wife spoke to somebody in Scotland who eventually told her that the nearest therapist to me was 10 minutes drive away, which was fabulous, but it should have come from the GP and not as a result of all that research. So we mentioned this to the GP because we needed to get a referral to this particular team of therapists, and his answer was that he thought that was just for cancer patients that had lymphedema. But there you go, lesson learned from his point of view and mine. He made the referral, and I saw my local therapist in Kent, who I still see today in a different location. And the first meeting was probably 2 hours long, giving me an opportunity to get everything off my chest and share with them the mental and physical challenges that I was having with lymphedema at that time. And I left with a plan. I left with appointments scheduled for bandaging and to get the right level of compression and information on how to look after myself as well, which was fantastic. So learning from that lesson nearly 11 years ago, I wanted to shortcut that for anybody that was diagnosed with lymphedema, or indeed people that have got lymphedema but don't know where to go for help. So on the website, under Meet the Organisations, there are 3 charities listed. Each have their part to play. So number 1 for me was the Lymphedema Support Network, or LSN for short. Through phoning them, you can access their database of therapists and specialists across the UK. And by giving them your town or your postcode, they can come back to you with who they have listed on their database. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is the BLS, the British Lymphology Society, who have a register online on their website where you can put in your postcode, and it lists all of the qualified lymphedema therapists and specialists in your area. Now, both of those organisations are on the website, so it might be just as easy for you to visit the Meet the Organisations page of Lymphedema United, where you have everything in front of you. The third organisation and charity is MLD UK, MLD short for Manual Lymphatic Drainage, and they have a register on their site of all of the therapists in the UK that provide manual lymphatic drainage. Again, same principle, enter your postcode and geographically the list of therapists will appear for you. If I'd have known that 11 years ago, it wouldn't have taken so long. So hopefully that saved you a bit of time. As for getting referred to a specialist, that was pretty much by chance, actually. I had manual lymphatic drainage from a local therapist in Kent at the time, which I paid privately for, a gentleman called Mark Pearson, who is on the Meet the Experts page. Mark was fantastic, probably listened to me waffle on for a couple of hours, and I think from memory there was a little bit of frustration that came across as to the lack of help out there, and his response to that was, well, you need to go and see Professor Mortimer at St George's in London. Get your GP to refer you to see the prof. He'll sort you out. He'll take care of you. At last, we were getting somewhere. And in 2012, the GP referred me to see Professor Mortimer. At the beginning of the year, we had our very first consultation meeting with him, and absolutely amazing gentleman. If you haven't had the pleasure of meeting him, then I'm sure there's videos and there's books, obviously, that he's written that get his personality across. But he was a saviour from my perspective. So we had our first appointment with him in 2012, and as a result of that, there was a comprehensive treatment plan put forward, all on the NHS, I hasten to add, including compression, including wraps, including advice on the right skincare products, bandaging as part of decongestive lymphedema therapy. And, you know, that was 2012. We're still in contact today in 2022. And he has been instrumental in me getting to where I am today, along with his team at St George's, including the wonderful Dr. Christiana Gordon, Mark Pearson, Patrick, and the team of therapists there. So again, through chance, Mark referred me to Prof with the help, obviously, of my GP, and I haven't looked back since. Now, there are a list of experts on the Meet the Experts page that may be of use to you. But again, there are these centres all over the UK. I know Derby, Southampton, as well as London. It's just a question of finding them. So that's where the BLS and the LSN can come in to help you. And once you've found them, in my experience, they don't let you go. You know, lymphedema is a lifelong condition, and you need a treatment plan for life. And our job is to remain compliant and do as we're told. But their job is to guide you and make sure that you have all of the tools necessary to help with your treatment. So I hope that's been useful. 2 pages to visit on the website: Meet the Organisations and Meet the Experts. And hopefully, if you need help, it's there, and I wish you well. Any questions, do get in contact with us. hello@lymphunited.com is the email address, or there's a message service on the website itself. It's been fabulous. Keep well, keep in touch, and thanks for listening.